touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. We are getting ready here tonight for 225 laps here at Phoenix for the Sigma Cup Series. Front row qualified first here tonight, Tasha Wright in the KBM Cadillac starting front row alongside number 16 of Monty Shangle there. Next row back, you've got Lynn Farrell and Trevor Vaden. Taden Berggren and John Hagan, Jacob Shangle and Ewan Watermy, your top two from the sprint qualifier last night. Tom Cording and Brian DeBlanc, Finley Herwig and Chris Harvey. Cooper Dwight, fresh off of his first career win last week at Daytona, alongside Tyler Aspinall. Chaz Chadwick and Bradley Ream. Starting mid-pack here, you've got Sebastian Torres and Wyatt Wilkinson. Behind that, you got Preston Kundo and James Fireball Robert. Kara Shangle alongside Alex Crowther there. Jimmy Logano and Lucas Holmes. Tyler Shangle and Luis Rodriguez. Braden Varga and Al Bunch. Sebastian Galloway Jr. with Ryan Little. Kellen Relic and Kevin Xavier, Liz Shangle and Dave Steele Jr., Louis Trost and Chad Hertenstein, Brandon Butler II, alongside Carson Bowers, Ryan White and Trevor Walker, Rich Roy and Tyler Landa, Tristan Reams and Eli the Wolf, with Nelson Chacon rounding out the field here for tonight's 225 lap race here at Phoenix. 45 cars will take. We'll see how the racing goes down here tonight in Arizona. Phoenix has been an exciting one this week with the few races that we have run on the Under Series. Last lap pass with the trucks gave us quite the exciting finish thriller on Monday. Could we be in for another thrilling finish here tonight with the Cup Series? As we're getting ready to roll here, Tasha and Monty lead them to the start. The green flag waves and we're rolling here in Phoenix. The real season starts now as the wildcard races are behind us for a while. Tonight we race at Phoenix. Tomorrow we race at Portland. for a doubleheader week here. Tasha Wright from pole position. She's going to jump to the early lead here. Monty settles into second. And Lynn Farrell running in third. What's been the big topic this season so far is all the new winners. First two Cup races, brand new winners in the Cup Series, 2 for 2. If we had to look through the field here tonight to figure out some candidates that could keep that trend alive, your top two are both previous winners here in the Sigma Cup Series. So Tasha and Monty would not continue that trend. But if you look back to third, you've got Lynn Farrell, who's been at it for a couple years and has just not gotten the formula together to seal the deal and settle it in victory lane. He could potentially be on a run here tonight to try and secure that first Cup win. Behind that, you've also got the 17 of Trevor Vaden, a truck race winner, and he's been up the ladder, bridge to Cup, and all those other things. So not yet a Cup winner. Tayden Bergeron right there behind him. I feel like Tayden might not have gotten a Cup win yet in his career either. So, hey, yeah, it's a. Fastest lap so far belongs to John Hagan, who's running in 6th right there. John Hagan would be another candidate for first-time winner in the Cup Series if he gets the job done here tonight. Let us go ahead and do a through the field here as we've got kind of a lull in the racing action. It's single file up front. You got Brian DeBlanc, Chris Harvey, and Jacob Schenkel rounding out your top 10. Then you've got Tom Cording in the number 30, Tyler Aspinall in the 45, and Wyatt Wilkinson in his rookie campaign having a top 15 run here so far. We continue on through the field here. Running in 14th, that is Bradley Ream. Runner-up in Rookie of the Year contention last year. Fell short to Braden Varga. He's looking to try and bounce back and have another good season here in the Cup side of things. Alex Crowther, your defending Bridge to Cup champion. Then you have Finley Herwig, the very unique case, Bridge to Cup full-time and Cup Series full-time. Behind that, you've got Chaz Chadwick, who, for him, it's got to be weighing heavy on his shoulders that he has not been able to park that thing in victory lane for quite some time. Been a whole year and counting since he's last seen victory lane here in the Cup Series. kind of came out of the gates like gangbusters, and all of a sudden, last year was just rough. So Chaz Chadwick holding his own here in the top 20. Lucas Holmes, Cooper White, James Fireball Robert, and mid-pack now you've got Jimmy Logano, Luis Rodriguez, Sebastian Torres, Preston Kundo, Kara Shangle, Al Bunch. Wow. We usually see him up front dominating, lead laps, whooping the field. Not the case here tonight. He's got his work cut out for him. Ryan Little, Kevin Xavier, Tyler Shangle, man. What a fall from grace with a defending champion as well, deep in the field here tonight. Dave Steele Jr., Sebastian Galloway Jr., Liz Shangle, Louis Trost, Chad Hertenstein, Kellen Relic, Braden Varga, Brandon Butler II, Trevor Walker, Carson Bowers, Rich Roy. And then we're getting into the very, very deep into the field. 41st place at the moment, Ryan White. 42nd, Tyler Landa. 43rd, Nelson Chacon. 44th, Tristan Reams. And your race winner from Armory Digital Super Speedway, rounding out the entire field at the back. Holy cow. What a tough night for him to be winner a couple weeks ago, and very much at the tail end of the field here in this one. Hey, in chat there, be kind. Dude, I don't know where who the heck, yeah, who is this serial designation J? Internet troll, I guess. Pay him no mind, folks. I don't know if they're actually in the series or if it's just a random straggler we had joining the race here tonight. I'll let him talk. At least he's a race fan and not a bot, I can tell you that much. I got dared to do this. Okay, no racism, okay? No. I don't want to be a parent and be scolding people for saying stuff that they shouldn't. Well, the racing action is kind of leveled out here at the moment. Ewan Wood Army fastest lap time. No cautions so far. Monty is tailing Tosh at the front of the field here. He wants to try and get the lead here in the Biffle throwback car. Bro, stop that. I'll put you on timeout if you don't behave. Okay, what the hell? I think this is just the cusp of being having 11,000 subscribers on YouTube. Sometimes we get unsavory characters in the chat log, and that, you know, is kind of wild. I honestly did not know that we would reach this level of of YouTube, but here we are. So far, it's pretty much follow the leader up front. Tasha has led all the laps so far. Monty in second. Third place is Lynn Farrell. Fourth place, Trevor Vaden. And fifth place, Hayden Bergeron. Man, what a wild top five. Honestly, these are 5 drivers that had not had the pace last year to fight for wins. You can look a little further back here. John Hagan, who had a very terrible 2025 season, having a good top 10 run here so far. Chris Harvey up into 9th. Good run for him. And Wyatt Wilkinson, the rookie owner, new team owner, kind of in a bit of a satellite team system with LFG Motorsports. So if you're looking at it that way, you can think he's the 2311 to Joe Gibbs Racing here on the Sigma side of things for LFG Motorsports. Wyatt Wilkinson had really climbed the whole ladder from ARCA, bridged to Cup, and secured his Cup charter last season at the end of the year with the Project Roar program that allowed him to inherit the charter that Atlee had left on the table. And that was part of the project, was to try and bring the next great talent into the series. Wyatt Wilkinson outperformed the rest of the competition and earned his right as the team owner, this number 39 Honda machine. In the Sigma series, we usually run on charters, but the charter is based off results from the previous season. So basically, you're fighting for your right to hold a charter next year right now. If you can stay in the top 32 in the points, you will get that charter for the following season. So if it looks like you're going to have a terrible season, your next goal or next objective on the line would be to try and stay in the top 32 in points. So that means you could be locked into all the races for the following season. So for our 32 chartered drivers, that means they do not have to qualify their way into the main event each week. They're already locked, as they are your charter holders, securing that Cup position for the entire season. Folks, though, that don't have a charter, they'll have to come through what we call the sprint qualifiers, which is a quick race. Usually the field ranges in about 20 to 30 cars, and only your top 10 to 15 will make it into the main event for the next night main event. The battle up front's getting good, and I've been clued in that there might be a good battle in the back here. I'm not seeing, but Monty really is closing the door, catching up on the 90. Tasha's led all the laps so far. But will the 16 of Monty look to try and get around her here? Got to start to wager in previous experience in the series. Monty's been at it for the last 15, 16 years here in the Sigma Cup Series. He is your 2012 Sigma Cup champion, has won multiple times throughout his 16-year career, up within the top 10 of all-time winners in Sigma Cup. And he's paying the ultimate tribute to Greg Biffle here tonight, the number 16 all season actually, running the 3M styled number 16 machine, paying tribute to Greg Biffle. There's only going to be one driver that had the unequivocal opportunity to run the true Greg Biffle tribute scheme this year, and it just so happened to be Monty in the number 16. Wow. This is crazy, folks, that we might be seeing race 1 winner from the season about to go a lap down. Just 2 weeks ago at Armory Digital Super Speedway, Eli the Wolf took home race victory, number 1 of the season. And such is the duality of motorsports. Sometimes you're at the top of the game, and next week you're at the very, very bottom of the barrel. And so Eli, he's going to have his work cut out for him here tonight as he's about to go a lap down early in this one. What's crazy is Monty has started this season with back-to-back sub-40 finishes. The super speedways did not treat the 16 machine well at all. Actually, let me pull up our past results, our standings for the last couple races. Yeah, look at that. So dead last in the points right now. Monty Shangle has 3 whopping points, and that has settled him into 51st in the point standings after only 2 races this year. His first 2 race finishes were 46th and 42nd. 42nd was good for 2 points, but 46th at Armory was good for 1 point. And the field is still very deep here tonight. The worst you could do is 1 point with a 45th place finish. And they're just now putting your points leader 1 lap down, Eli the Wolf, after 2 races. Finished 1st and 2nd. Folks, I can't write this. I can't even come up with this concept. This is what racing is all about. You know, the ebb and the flow. Honestly, this almost blows me away how reversed everything is here. It's like someone played the Uno reverse card on the field, and just goes to show you those super speedway races, man, really do kind of wrinkle up the field a little bit when you figure in just the luck of the game. Sometimes the best drivers don't actually get to prove their worth when it comes to the real racetracks. Well, they get around the 2 cars now, lap down, and here comes Lynn Farrell knocking on the outside. Yeah, wild. I appreciate that statement there from Greeno, from Finley, that it's going to be a night of comebacks, a night of big gains from some of the drivers deep in the points. So far, no cautions early in this one. Ewan Wood Army fastest lap so far throughout the first 46 laps of the night. Lynn tried to catch up there, but Monty's starting to drive back away. Monty piloting the Hiawatha Speed Shop number 16 Biffle tribute scheme. Now, Phoenix might kind of play out like a bit of a road course where pit stops could factor in here and really change up the game. So if we get a lot of green flag racing here, pit stops could shake it all up just like a road course. Kind of crazy to say that at Phoenix, of all places. The only other oval that really comes close to a road course would definitely be Pocono, where it feels like, with it being 3 turns and fuel mileage, always the name of the game at Pocono. Not really a subject of Phoenix, though, where we don't really see much fuel mileage races here, being as short a track as it is. So the lap cars getting passed up here. Tristan Reams 44th, Eli the Wolf 45th. And this blows that championship battle wide open in race 3 of the season. Just when we thought we were starting to see some established dominance amongst a couple names, just hit that rewind button and shake it all up again. Wide with the lap traffic in the mix there. Chris Harvey in the midst of it. Now cracking the top 15 for the first time here tonight, Finley Herwig. Oh, 3 wide. Man, Eli is making it dicey here as they're getting around him. He might be on the wrecker before the end of this thing. It just kind of makes you wonder, where did all that speed go? We know he's capable. You know, the Jaguar to Dodge transition might be a bit tougher than one realizes. After the domination from Jaguar the last couple years, they were forced to change manufacturer. Kellen Relic Racing, they decided to go back to the tried and true, where they once were a Dodge team. They've come back full circle, running Dodge again here in 2026. But Al Bunch struggling here tonight. Eli the Wolf struggling. Still the battle brewing at the front here. Monty right there on Tasha's tail. They're about to put some more drivers a lap down here tonight. We might be down to about 42 cars on the lead lap here shortly. Yeah, Kellen Relic struggling in 32nd. And Al Bunch just a couple spots ahead of that in 29th. So Dodge may be on the kind of in the downhill side of things, trying to climb out of the trenches. best running Dodges here tonight. It looks like the 77 of Preston Kundo having a mid-pack run there in 22nd. And for any other Dodges, I don't think. Well, we got Bradley Ream running in 14th there in the Dodge Charger. So Bradley Ream, your highest running Dodge driver that I can see from here, it seems. Dodge definitely lost a big group of drivers this year, as there's been a lot of changes manufacturer-wise. More people jumping over to Honda. Some folks joining the Genesis line of Sigma Cup. Ford saw a resurgence this year, specifically with the Shangle family opening up a 5-car team on MSM. So the 5-car Biffle garage basically is trying to revive the Ford brand here in Sigma Cup. And to me, it's wild that this year, with more parity than we've seen in a while, if you look at the manufacturer battle as it sits, we've got 9 Hondas, we've got 9 Chevys. That seems modest. 8 Fords, and then you've got 7 Dodges, 7 Genesis, 7 Cadillac, 3 Toyota, which is kind of wild to me. When you look at real-life NASCAR, Toyota is kind of a powerhouse. For them to only have 3 is actually kind of wild. And here we go. Hold on as I'm talking and chattering here. Battle for the lead starting to brew. Tasha defends the attack there from the 16, and this lap traffic is going to hold her up a little bit. But Monty knocking on the door in the number 16 machine. Here we go. Right there on the inside. Forget about the last 2 weeks. It is now time to buckle in and climb out of the trenches for some of these drivers that have had a rough start to the season. Lynn Farrell closing in on the top 3 again here. But yeah, no, the parity is truly unmatched. We've never had that level of separation in the manufacturer. Usually we've got double digits. We got like 15 or 20 Chevys. But to me, this almost feels like the perfect balance, because we might actually get to see a manufacturer battle that means something this year. When you've got all equal, barely, I mean almost all, equal representation from all the manufacturers. The only one light, definitely Toyota, and then the one lone Subaru in the field. There we go. Monty gets a edge on the 90. He's going to lead the lap there. Tasha on the outside, though, she's going to fight back. Well, he led one lap, but not going away. It's going to be a good battle all night here. 160 laps still to go. I think that's Taden Bergren. Yeah, so Taden Bergren now up to 4th. I believe that's the first time he's been up in the top 4 here. And he's closing in on the top 3 as he's caught up with the lap traffic there. Right there, the 23 Lego entry. That's Tyler Landa going a lap down. That'll leave us with 42 cars on the lead lap. 37 of Nelson Chacon coming to a slow on the inside here. Mechanical failure for Nelson, unfortunately, as he drops it down to go to pit road. No caution, no fluid down, so we keep rolling green here tonight. LFG Motorsports has picked it up here tonight. I guess you could kind of shoehorn Wyatt Wilkinson into the mix there as a satellite team for LFG Motorsports. So 4 of them running in the top 11. Great night for LFG. We're not gonna miss this pass up front if it happens. And keep the cameras rolling on the front here as this battle, it is staying very lively. Keep an eye on the ticker to see if Nelson actually retires here. Shows that he's 1 lap down in 43rd. That would have been, I think, the ticker has not updated yet. So Eli the Wolf may actually avoid finishing dead last here tonight if we have an early retirement in this one. 2 laps down for Nelson. He is not retired yet, so maybe they get it fixed and back rolling. We'll have to see. Yeah, he's still on pit road, so they're doing some, did some repairs, and he's gonna get rolling back, so it must have been an easy fix, something they could service on pit road here. He's gonna fall a couple laps down though. Well, the tough part with no cautions here early in this one, the longer this runs, the more likely we're going to see green flag pit stops. Green flag pit stops maybe already on. No, that's the 37 making another trip down pit road. Probably still damage that they're trying to get worked out of the 37 machine. But how wild is this long green flag run? And lap traffic is definitely factoring into this one so far. Last win for Tasha, you don't have to look too far back. Last year in the Music Fest Grand Prix, she took that one home in a resounding finish to that race. We had 111 cars trying to make the field for the Music Fest Grand Prix, our 3rd running of that show. And she outlasted them and took home the victory for the MFGP3. So we're going to Texas World Super Speedway this year for the Music Fest Grand Prix 4. Obviously not until October, so way later in the season, but drivers definitely going to have that one circled on their calendar. So yeah, Tasha, it's only been 3 races since her last victory. The 2 races, actually 4. 2 races this year and the last 2 races of 2025, where she had not yet had last seen victory. But on the latter side of that, Monty Shangle, it's been a bit of a dry spell for the 38. They did not see victory lane in 2025. It was very highly documented, the struggles that Ford had last year, and it's been quite a while since the Fords have actually looked strong and stout. go back another year, and that would have been the last time he won was in 2024. Had 2 wins on the season, and it was mid-season there. 8 Bowl Super Speedway and Gateway. So 8 Bowl would have been in summertime, August 2nd, last time that Monty has seen Victory Lane, the number 16 machine. This year, where he once was in the 38 machine, last time he saw Victory Lane. So Taden Bergeron's been at it since 2023, I want to say. He's had a full-time ran a select schedule in 23, actually. Had a full season in 2024. And 2025 was his breakout year so far. 5 top 5s, 10 top 10s, no wins. So Taden Bergeron still winless in Sigma Cup competition. His best finish has been second on an occasion or twice, it looks like. 3 times he's been runner-up. And that was in 2025, where he finished runner-up 3 times. And here he is coming up to the front of the field. That number 43 Runza Chevrolet. Right now, from the broadcast side of things, it's kind of a guessing game on my own as to when we'll see those green flag pit stops. Phoenix 1 mile in distance, and typically at a 1.5 mile track, they'll be going to pit at around lap 60 to 65. So I guess if that's a good gauge, at a mile length track, you might be seeing them come at about lap 90, I would wager. But we're on lap 82 and still ticking. No takers down pit road yet. If it's at all possible, and I don't know if it is, but it might be enticing for these drivers to try and stretch it to lap 1:13, because that would put you at the midway point. You'd be guaranteed to make it on 1 stop. I don't know about that one. It'd probably come down to at least a 2-stopper race here today. I don't see him going 113 laps without pitting. But we've seen some crazy stuff this year already. I mean, this is only race 3 of the season. And for me to be saying that we've seen a lot of crazy things this year is saying something. The trend for this week has been the driver that's led the most laps has not been able to seal the deal. So if you're in Tosh's shoes right now, that's not a good stat to be throwing out there. You definitely do not want that to become a full-blown trend of the week. You want to go out there and stump the odds and try to do the opposite of the misfortunate trend that has already developed. Each of the races this week between trucks, ARCA, and Bridge to Cup all have been won by drivers that did not lead the most laps. There we go, first taker down pit road. That is Taden Bergeron from 4th place. So your leaders are going to be coming in here shortly. Man, blown engine for Jacob Schenkel, the number 60. Has a piston failure on lap 70. Top 10 run. Flying the colors of Greg Biffle. Blown engine for the 60 machine. Tough break. Hopefully that does not transfer over to any of the other Monty Schenkel Motorsports Fords out there. Definitely missed that one. So the 60 is the first retirement of the race. And we've got a bunch of green flag pit stops here. Still no caution, so it is a true two-stop race here tonight. If they can go 89 on each run here, that would put the last pit stop range at about lap 178, 180, which would put us at about a 45-lap shootout to the finish. Man, and it's been a bad luck spree for anyone with Biffle tribute schemes this season, as they have very much failed to actually seal the deal all season so far. The prime example being the number 16 of Monty, who had a 46th place finish and a 42nd place finish. Pit stop took quite some time there, but he's going to beat Tasha out of the pits. Tasha's still on pit road here. Monty comes out. Looks like he's going to come out about third in line, as some of the undercutters, folks that pitted earlier, have come out in front of Monty. So your new leader potentially might be the number 43 of Taden Berggren here, with second place, you and What Army. Tasha comes out one lap later. Wow. A tough pit stop for your race leader that dominated the first stretch of the race here tonight. Unless she came in a lap later than Monty did, she might actually be cycling out right in line. Yeah, actually, she just came in a lap later. Monty returns 6th. She comes out 7th. But it's LFG Motorsports top 5 with Chaz Chadwick. Brian DeBlank for Trackhouse B. You and What Army, LFG Motorsports running in 3rd. Taden Berggren in 2nd. So who is the leader? Okay, it must have been someone on pit road. So I think Taden will be. Who is leading the race? Is the 78 staying out? Has he not yet pitted? Bradley Ream has an 18-second advantage. He has pitted. He pitted on lap 88. What did he do differently? He was 12th. Came in on lap 88, just a lap prior to Monty, but somehow, some way got a tremendous pit stop, while the other drivers struggled on their pit stop, it seems. Sometimes NR2003 just does some weird stuff. Right now, trapped a lap down all the way down to 18th. 18th is on the lead lap. Everyone else trapped a lap down here, basically. I feel like some folks just took a little longer on pit stops there than they should have. Yeah, it's tough to say what really transpired there. If we look and see. He's already done with his pit stop at that point. 4-tire stop. Only thing I can think of, some of these tracks with their pit road gremlins and glitches, if they have any sort of damage, which here at Phoenix, when they drive down on that dog leg, and I think I've seen this at a couple other tracks, they will spend more time on pit road making repairs to damage sustained from hitting the dog leg. And it's also another track we go to where they hit the wall pretty regularly, kind of like a Darlington stripe of sorts. And so the game will actually do more repairs on pit road than necessary. And I mean, it's not science. It's no proven point, but that is my sneaking hunch here as to what may have happened. The 78 does not seem to be running that lower line through the dogleg here, and therefore did not have to spend as much time on pit road making repairs to the machine. Which in a way, the only real solution to that would be to go back to old school Phoenix, go back to when the start finish line was right here on the backside of the racetrack. But part of me likes this new Phoenix because, you know, might as well throw a wrinkle in there. This kind of changes up the whole complexion of the race. You still have a couple of your top dogs in the mix. They're not completely knocked out of contention yet. As you look through the field here, they've got a bunch of lapped cars separating them. Honestly, your leaders from the first half are kind of sticking together. All it would come down to is Bradley Ream having a mistake as well. Yeah, so as long as they don't have to make repairs on the car for their next pit stop here, they might be able to catch back up with the 78 of Bradley Ream. So then it kind of becomes let's watch that zone of the racetrack to see who is staying up above the dog leg and not driving it down in the rough part of the racetrack. Well, the gap staying relatively consistent here as Bradley Ream's out there laying down the quick laps here. And that lead in his ball court. And he's working his way through some more lap traffic here as 17 cars are left on the lead lap now. John Hagan, fastest lap here tonight. There he is, about to go a lap down. That is a nearly three-wide JSR Genesis trio there. As you've got the 76 of Ryan White, the 52 of Brian Little, and the 88 of John Hagan. The only one missing out of that group there for the team is the 64 of Sebastian. So far, 0 cautions still. That's amazing here that we've gone this far without a yellow flag. 78 going to be forced to go drop below the dog leg here to get around the 52. He kind of does. He goes low there. If you think about that, it's like cheese on a cheese grater. Every time you drop below that line, at least in NR2003 standards, you're doing immense damage to the car. And so that means for added time on pit road, you're going to be stalled, getting damage repair. There he is. He's dropping to that bottom line. And that might explain some of our mechanical failures already here tonight. Some of the drivers knocked out from a mechanical. So far, only one, the number 60 machine. You do have to kind of wager in the effects of the dog leg there. And yet, keeping with the trend for this week, Tasha Wright led the first 90 laps, and now she's nowhere near the lead. But the case might be doubled down on here. Bradley Ream could go out here and lead 90 laps. And then we really don't know what the next pit stop's going to look like. If we're going to see more folks get trapped out of time with repairs to their cars. Plus, you got to kind of wager in. Things are getting a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more stacked up here. That first caution could be lurking around any corner. It could even include your race leader here, Bradley Ream, as he's having to slice and dice through a very heavily dense group of lap cars. He's not even on the low side where the preferred line is. He's stuck up high here trying to go around the outside. Bradley Ream had a great season in his rookie campaign last year. Put together a very solid rookie campaign coming up, finishing runner-up in that Rookie of the Year battle to Braden Varga. And he ended up coming home overall 6th in the points with 2 wins to his name. And those were 2 Crown Jewel wins. Actually, one of which was a Crown Jewel at Daytona. And then later in the season at Kansas, not really classified as a Crown Jewel, and they're wrecking behind the leader. Oh, and this is going to get ugly as there's nowhere for them to go. They come piling in. We hopefully see someone come out on the other side of the aftermath here. Your leader's coming back through now. It looks like they're safe. So caution number 1 of the night. And I think you're going to see a lot of tore up cars here now. Bradley Ream's astounding lead is now flushed down the toilet. I think this facilitates a full race pause as we go through the replays here. We just get to the halfway point when the wreck happens here. Let's pull out all the tools. Let's get our handy dandy pit lane cam up on the Yeah, and that was your lap traffic, obviously, that kind of caused the brunt of this. Okay, let's get a little bit closer here. So 4 wide on the exit of turn 4 there. And that is the 15 of Tristan Reams, your leader right there ahead of this. Chris Harvey gets a piece of it. Cooper Dwight gets spun out. That's Tyler Landon, the 23. And then the track just gets blocked all up here. In comes the 35. That's Dave Steele Jr. Chad Hertenstein with nowhere to go. Kellen Relic with nowhere to go. Looks like the rest of your traffic kind of slows up there after the fact. Chris Harvey looks like he sustained quite a bit of damage there. Let's try to check from the race view of the 35. Yeah, actually, let's look ahead a little further than that even. Al Bunch gets a piece of it, but it looks like he's able to kind of clear it. Tyler Shangle, that 7 machine is toast. Braden Varga comes in with nowhere to go. Tom Cording, a hard hit. Kevin Xavier, a hard hit. Sebastian Galloway Jr. As they all come dog piling in. Not sure if the blame is solely on Tristan Reams here, or perhaps, yeah, man, it's tough to say. It's just one of those racing deals. Chris Harvey kind of got into him there and paid the ultimate price. Man, that's a hard hit for the 35, Dave Steele Jr. Still piling in as they have nowhere to go on the racetrack. These are all drivers that are a lap down already. And so that makes their day even worse, getting retired out in such a nasty wreck here tonight. Well, we'll go ahead and get the race back and rolling here. And I'm going to try to give wave rounds and get more of the drivers back on the lead lap here. Wish there was a way that I could just like click and point, click and point. Okay, we're going to have to wait till all of them pit anyways to give them all the wave rounds. Well, we had a big one here at Phoenix. We haven't really seen the big one at Phoenix before. But tonight is an exception, I guess. Even at Phoenix, you can see a big pileup. We're still not sure all the drivers retired as they're still out there running around. Just now getting to pit road. We'll see which ones are out of the race here tonight. New leader, Tayden Berggren, top spot here. I'm going to go ahead and add a pace lap so that I can take the time to get everyone waved around here. If you're new to Sigma Racing, obviously I kind of do this just to keep the playing field fair, get everyone back on the lead lap. Sometimes the game does weird things that we can't explain, so the best solution is to just kind of keep everyone on the lead lap as much as possible. Engine failure for the 19 of Chris Harvey, more than likely from the damage sustained in that wreck here on caution number 1. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I'm just trying to get things figured out here. And I hope they didn't jump the pace car because they got back and rolling way too early there. We saw this problem last night, too, and I'm not sure why the game is doing this to me because it did it last night and black flag people for jumping the start. Looks like a black flag on Al Bunch deep in the field, so I don't know if he's going to... Yeah, the one of What Army's got to serve a black flag penalty. Weird. You know, honestly, it's a 23-year-old game, and it still does weird things that you just can't explain. So, we're back and rolling. Your race leader, Hayden Berggren. Second in line, it is the 85 of Brian DeBlanc, and the 43, I think, having to serve a black flag penalty as well. So, race lead, Brian DeBlanc. He finished top 4 championship last year. We have 25 cars on the lead lap. Looks like a few drivers that still had it trapped one lap down. Camshaft failure for Chris Harvey on the tail end of that wreck. Also retired from the race, the number 7 of Tyler Shangle, the number 21 of Chad Hertenstein, the 35 of Dave Steele Jr., the 23 of Tyler Landa, the 15 of Tristan Reams, and, well, still out there running, Nelson Chacon, 31 laps down, but he could gain all those spots. Dude, I am getting all kinds of freaking bots. What the hell? Yeah, stupid bots. What the hell? So that review was a little bit suspect, but we'll keep the green flag rolling. New fastest lap in the race, Monty Shangle, top of the run, fastest lap. He's running 4th right there. Time for a bounce back after the pit stops really shook things up here tonight. Jimmy Logano up into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. Chaz Chadwick in 6th. Seventh, it is James Fireball Robert. Lucas Holmes 8th. Wyatt Wilkinson 9th. And Trevor Baden with a solid top 10 run here so far. John Hagan 11th. Luis Rodriguez 12th. Bradley Ream 13th. And Ryan Little 14th. Some more of the drivers that are very, very much rough for the wear. They're going to go out there, soldier on though, and try to gain as much points as they can. I almost feel like there's some wizard out there that's putting all these bots on the server. What the hell? Hit 86,000 seconds. Why didn't it delete? Okay, I guess I gotta stay on top of blocking out the bots that are raiding our cup broadcast here tonight. 93 laps left to go now. Look at that, a move materializing for second place. That's the 69 of Lynn Farrell, seeking that first career win. Great run out of the 16 here as he's trying to close up on the 69. Your top two driving away a little bit more on third place, Lynn Farrell here. Definitely some variety when it comes to the manufacturers up front here. You got Chevy leading over Cadillac, then you have Dodge and Ford. You got another Chevy in 5th place, but then you have a Honda right behind that. Another Cadillac, another Chevy, and another Honda, pair of Hondas, and then Genesis in 11th there. So definitely seems like Caddy did their work this year, getting the Cadillac program up to snuff, and they're putting on quite the performance here. Cording Brothers Motorsports, the number 90 there, Tasha Wright's led most laps so far. She's lost the lead for now, but she's battling against Trackhouse B in the number 85 of Brian DeBlanc. With 87 laps to go, that means if and when those next pit stops come, it'll be the last pit stop of the race for these drivers. They're working their way around the lap traffic here. That's the 14 Driver X, that's Kevin Xavier. He was involved in that wreck, the first caution of the race, and he's trapped laps down in 33rd place. Fortunately, the car not happy after the wreck. I can confirm that question here. Let me look. There are a couple single car teams this season. Most considerably, Calvin Steele Racing has, okay, they're actually two since Nelson Chacon made the field here tonight. Bison Racing Team is a single car venture. Jimmy Logano Racing, a single car venture. Star Syndicate Race Industries, they're the lone Subaru. Wilkinson Motorsports, Lone Star Motorsports, how fitting. Roy Incorporated, RTD Motorsports, and Trackstar Motorsports Incorporated, plus Reams Motorsports. So, and then of course, none other than KGA. KGA Racing with the 68 of Finley Herwig. So that makes for 7 or 8 single car teams out there, which if you want to gauge team battles that way, that'd be a good one to gauge off of, is all the different single car teams. Who will rise above as the #1 single car team this year. And of course, Tristan Reams currently was the top #1 car team, and he's already out of this race here tonight in 43rd. So there goes one of your single car teams already knocked out of this race. Well, while I was rambling on there, Monty Schenkel gets up to 3rd, and a battle for the lead brewing here as Lynn Farrell in the 69 trying to go around the outside of Brian DeBlanc. With a good charge on the high side, that 69 machine for Tyler Schenkel Racing, putting up a fight here. It deleted their messages completely. Well, there you go. Lynn Farrell, top spot, leads the race here with 79 laps left to go. Monty Schenkel goes around the high side as well, and he's going to take 2nd away from Brian DeBlanc. It looks like doesn't quite have the job done yet. But there you go. Top 2 changes hands here as the number 69 and the 16 both jump to the top spot. And away, the number 69, also another number that Greg Biffle frequented at the end of his career. We got to see him run the 69 in the SRX series. So superstar racing experience, that was one of his go-to numbers, and I think even on the Stadium Super Trucks, he often ran 69 on that as well. So how wild would that be to have another car number synonymous with Biffle showing up here tonight? He's struggling a little bit. Monty on the high side might have a run here. I don't know why he dropped to the dog leg on that, because he's not trying to make a pass for position. A very, very slow lap for Lynn Farrell as Monty's going to try to drag race on the outside here. Good run from the 16. Lynn Farrell's going to defend. 85 not wanting to go away either. Now the racing really begins here as they are battling it out. Tooth and nail for the win here tonight. Monty to the top spot. The Greg Biffle number 16 machine. And Lynn Farrell drops to 3rd. .75 laps remaining, still one more pit stop to go. And that could very much define this race with one more pit stop here tonight. You're going to have to be firing on all cylinders with that pit stop to make sure that you get back out front with this thing. Working through some more lap traffic here. That's the 94 of Eli the Wolf. It just has not gotten better for him here tonight. Race winner, opener, a couple weeks back. Points leader, no more. After tonight, he's going to fall from grace. That top points position is going to go to someone else. This race still far from over. 71 laps to go. This top 5, very volatile. We've seen the lead swap hands numerous times here between the top 4. I almost wonder if it's the same person creating multiple accounts. I said that once, and I'm going to say that every time because it's the same, kind of the same regurgitated chat lines that they throw out there. Dude, we got lucky the last couple nights. I know I can turn it off, but I do like having it so people can actually chat. If this is going to become a new problem, then I'm going to force it to subscribers only. I know that that won't be a problem because the folks that are subscribed should be the ones leaving comments in the comment section. And hell, if they want to subscribe and be a bot that's subscribed to the channel, then so be it. But yeah, I guess 11,500 subscribers later, and I actually have to take measures to try and combat freaking chat bots, dude. Crazy. This is why when people get into the YouTube world, they always have a whole crew of people working with them. I'm just one person out of his, office working on this stuff week in and week out. And yeah, if I had another person here, they could be keeping a hawk's eye on the freaking lowlife bot scammers. Brian DeBlanc trying to make a comeback here. Monty not out of the woods. He's got the fastest lap in the race. And he's got open track ahead of him. Lap traffic is coming into play here, though. So far, so good. The battle brewing all night long here at Phoenix. Last pit stop is going to fall at a very, very tough time, as it's probably going to be around 30 laps to go once we start seeing takers for pit stops. That doesn't leave very much wiggle room with a bad pit stop here tonight. You can't really make anything back with a 30 lap push to the finish, so definitely applies pressure to these pit crews to get the job done on pit road and not make a mistake. Tasha losing some ground there, as Monty and DeBlanc both driving away from the rest of the field at the moment. Go ahead and this race is going to be over in just shy of the 2-hour mark, so I don't have to do part 1, part 2 of the recording here tonight. It's all going to be caught on one run without having to do any pauses for recording. I'm going to add yellow in case we need a green-white checkers. Hopefully we don't need it, but still checking that box in case we do. Better Cautions has definitely changed the game in NR2003, where it allows you to do double file restarts and even green-white checkered finishes, bringing an element of real modern NASCAR to a game that's 23 years old. You just have to make sure to check that box, to make sure you check the box after lap 1, or else it crashes the game. So yeah, no, you can have green-white checkers, but you just have to remember to check the box later on in the race. Don't do it on lap 0, it'll make the game crash. It'll basically end the race right there. So green white checkers enabled. 58 laps to go. Regular green white checkered rules apply. It's unlimited attempts up until the time you see the white flag. So we could see multiple green white checkered attempts if that white flag does not wave. But as soon as the white flag waves, it's game over. That's one more lap and we're packing up and heading home. Here comes a hornet's nest of lap traffic ahead of our leaders here. And this might be a tough one. You got some slow cars mixed in there with some fast cars. There might be some roadblocks. There might be some double wide traffic keeping you from making the passes to get through it. For Brian DeBlanc, he's licking his chops right now, seeing the opportunity ahead of him. For Monty, just crossing his fingers, hoping that they don't wreck around him. And already having to execute go down on the low side. Borderline 3 wide there into the turn. Cuts below the dog leg. That's going to add some damage to the 16 machine. For Monty, he's probably hoping that he doesn't have to serve too much extra time on pit road in the last pit stop here tonight. For a car that looks immensely clean, he's been able to stay out of trouble all night in the 16 machine, and he has worked his way through the lap traffic pretty quickly. 3 wide right behind him. This could get dicey with your leaders trying to work their way through now. So a new trend this year. After every race, we do burnouts for Biff. Man, how wild, how cool would that be for the 16 car to park it in victory lane and do burnouts for Biff this year. Definitely don't want to jinx the race yet. It's not over. We still got 52 laps to go. But just imagining the potential here with a race that's been really fun to watch so far. And for Monty, it'll be a race winless streak of a year plus that he's trying to erase from existence. Currently sits top 10 in the all-time wins category here in Sigma Cup. Caution. We've got our second caution of the night. And pit stops. Obviously, your leaders are going to come down pit road here right away. So let us do another pause to figure out what the caution's for. This seems to help keep the racing pretty streamlined here tonight. So second caution, sometimes NR 2003 does like to throw out bogus debris cautions. So we will see if that is in fact the case here tonight, if there's a bogus debris caution or if there's actually a wreck somewhere on track. Trying to look for all the lights. I guess we gotta just keep an eye on the pace car. I think we got ourselves a bogus debris caution here tonight. Oh, wait. Nope. A mechanic. No, he's actually going at full speed. Yeah, bogus debris caution. And that may have been the caution that your leaders needed to try and get this race reset here in their favor without having to make green flag pit stops. At least they have a sense of humor. Brown Super Bowl champion. In what era or what year, I don't know, but it's definitely not in this timeline. There we go. Pivotal pit stop. Monty's going to come out with the lead here. That's all he needed. He needed a good pit stop, minimize downtime. He's going to rejoin the race in the lead. So what we'll try to do here again that I failed to do properly this last time is get everyone waved around so we don't have that bunch up effect. We're gonna pull a full NASCAR here and add pace laps. Make it feel like a commercial break of pace laps so that we can actually get everyone waved around here. And I like to try and build upon the mistakes of NASCAR, but we end up caving and having to fall back in line to some of those not so desirable elements of the race. Man, we got a lot of folks 2 laps down, so what I'm gonna do, everyone that's 2 laps down will get back on the lead lap, and then those that are 3 and 4 laps down, they're just going to have to fend for themselves here tonight. Still one of the wildest sights to see all the wave arounds like that. Okay, we'll be done with wave rounds now, and we'll get back to green as soon as the next pace lap completes. That'll put us with 32 cars on the lead lap. Still never understand. So like that, we have to do an EOLL 71. Or else that's gonna hold up your leaders something fierce. Yeah, a few folks did not get the wave round in time, as the lights will be off on the pace car next time by. There we go. Now we're cooking. Always seems to be the problem when you've got lap traffic up front. Of course, we'd have a clinker hop in when I'm trying to give the wave rounds. Lights are off on the pace car. We're going to get back and rolling here with 43 laps to go. Monty Shangle will reset them here, leading them to the restart. They're going to get doubled up. Hopefully this is a clean restart, no shenanigans. Clean start. Look at them. They're rolling down the backstretch. They're going to wait to go in the restart zone, as they should. 2 by 2, they come rolling into turn 4. 42 laps to go. Who's going to get the job done here tonight? No more pit stops. We're rolling to the finish of this one. No, Monty's getting a bump there by the 85 of Brian DeBlank. The gloves are truly off now as they're racing hard. Brian DeBlank around the outside. He's going to close position on the number 16. Monty falls to second. Man, what a wild restart. Well, Brian DeBlanc did not just take the lead, he laid down the fastest lap as well, waiting to make that move late in the race here and steal the lead away from Monty Shangle. Now settling into third, you also have Jimmy Logano and Lynn Farrell still in the top 5. New 5th place driver though, that is the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. Then you have Lucas Holmes, Luis Rodriguez, John Hagan. Tasha Wright's fallen back to 9th, and Fireball Robert running in 10th. After that wild restart, we've kind of settled in to a good green flag push here to the finish. Laps led looks something like this here tonight. 31 laps led by Brian DeBlanc so far. 34 laps led by Monty Shangle. 5 laps led by Lynn Farrell. And 87 laps led by Tasha Wright. Bradley Ream earlier in the race had 26 laps led. And yet again, keeping that trend alive, it looks like Tasha may or may not be able to catch back up and become another one of our trends here this week, leading the most laps and not closing out with the win. Another driver making repetitive trips down pit road. That's last week's race winner, the 41 of Cooper Dwight. So another trend holding true tonight, that it's a bad night for the previous 2 winners this season, as Cooper Dwight and Eli the Wolf both are subject to a very, very rough finish here tonight. 94 running in 28th, and the 41 running 3 laps down in 33rd. 30 laps to go. Fastest laps look something like this. 26.756. That is Brian DeBlanc, the top of the leaderboard right now. Second quickest, Jimmy Logano with a 26.763. And then Monty Shangle with a 26.766. John Hagan, 4th fastest, and Lynn Farrell, 5th fastest. Not always is the fastest car the one that wins the race, though. Monty keeping that 85 honest as he's right there trying to catch back up to him. Yeah, that restart had a little bit of everything. We saw some bumping, we saw some banging. We also saw a lead change on the end of the battle. It just goes to show you that the restarts are often the most crazy part of a race. But this right here could still turn around. That 16 ain't letting the 85 get too far away. Any one of our 5 drivers up front here could still get into the mix. With 28 laps to go, I'm not sure if lap traffic will factor in near as badly here. But for Monty, this is his race to lose. He's had a great run here tonight. Brian DeBlanc trying to steal it. And last season was kind of a statement year for legacy drivers. We saw Dalton Scott kind of return to form in his farewell tour. Could it be kind of an era of Sigma racing where we see the veterans come back into the spotlight? Monty Shangle has already chronicled with his struggles last year. a resurgence this season would mean a lot at the waning of a career here. The number 16 of Monty having a great go of it here. Dalton was retired on a high note. May very well be the only driver in Sigma Racing to retire as a champion. Pulled off the Peyton Manning move. Very few actually get to do, winning a championship and calling it quits. Could that be on the line for a driver as many years into it as Monty has been? Could it be a championship away from calling it a career as well? You never know. He's going to keep this 85 honest, you know. Brian DeBlanc, kind of a sophomore, definitely not a rookie and not truly a grizzled veteran. But he's been around for a while now, and he's gotten his good fair share of wins. And so tonight, you got the grizzled veteran hunting down the fresh blood, the newcomers, the future of the sport versus the legends of the sport. And where does that experience get you? If you've been around it so long, are you going to be able to lean on that experience to pull some tricks out of your hat here tonight? Looks like maybe a little bit of magic in the works here for the 16 as he's going to stick it up high on the outside of the 85. Brian DeBlanc going to have his hands full fighting for the lead. With 20 laps to go, Monty leads that lap. Brian DeBlanc on the defense. Yes, it was in fact my internet that crashed there. I am now reconnected via my phone's hotline so that I don't know. I was just jinxing it today. I mentioned to my dad how my internet had not crapped out for quite some time. And lo and behold, we made that fatal mistake of jinxing it. So, haven't missed anything but maybe 5 laps as we get back rolling here. Monty Shangle still out front leading and starting to build that lead. Jimmy Logano now up to second as Monty leads the way. Brian DeBlanc falls back to third. Lynn Farrell in fourth and Chaz Chadwick in fifth. For Monty, hopefully the cautions stay away. That's all he's hoping for, that this race stays green all the way to the finish. Jimmy Logano not yet a winner in the Sigma Cup Series. A few of these drivers, though, definitely going to be glad for just a top 5, top 10 finish here tonight. Jimmy Logano in second. Brian DeBlanc, always the consistent, the quiet killer in the background there. Top 5 finish for him here tonight. Really sets him off in the right direction. Lynn Farrell fourth, but maybe hunting for third here on the outside of the 85. Keep an eye on this battle for a moment. I do not foresee a whole bunch of lap traffic changing this up. Jimmy Logano trying to close the gap now as well. Lynn Farrell up to third. John Hagan in the top 10 looking for a career best in the Sigma Cup Series tonight. It looks like the Genesis project is finally getting it figured out for JSR. Tasha Wright still might be able to retain a top 10. But with 11 laps to go, look at the lap times here. Jimmy Logano at a 27.398. Monty Shangle slowed down a little bit, down to a 27.529. This lap again, a 27.3 for Jimmy Logano, and Monty matched that with a 27.3. Sorry, folks, for not highlighting as much of the field here tonight. We've kind of had our eyes glued to the front of the field here, as that's where all the action has been. Potentially a big night brewing here for the number 16 if he can get the job done. 47 laps led. He's going to have the second most laps led to Tasha Wright here tonight. All he's got to do is hold on for 7 more laps. And no cautions. Definitely would be the call here. That 16 needs to see clean air ahead, green air ahead. Yeah, Jimmy Logano was mounting a bit of a charge there, but kind of petered out at the moment. The gap between the top two as it sits, just 0.7 of a second. Now back down to 0.8 of a second. Eli the Wolf about to go another lap down here tonight. Of course, this week the doubleheader. After Phoenix here tonight, we're going to go to Portland tomorrow night, run some road course racing. That'll truly be an eye-opener for the start of the season here. We don't really know who our road course ringers are yet. We'll find out tomorrow night at Portland. Jimmy Logano has fallen back to 0.9 now, so he's losing time while Monty is cruising away with it. Now we're down to just a handful of laps left to go. In an off-season riddled with confusion and sorrow, it's been a rough off-season for a lot of folks in the racing community. We lost a couple drivers. We lost Greg Biff. We lost Mike Lynette, and then you had other people in the racing community that was lost during the end of 2025 there, like Denny Hamlin's dad. And it's kind of nice to have some solace in the matter of all of it, to pay tribute and honor some of the race heroes. And how crazy that we were only 3 races into this season before we saw the number 16 up front dominating. Putting down a lot of laps led here. White flag, one more lap to go. Monty Shangle, he's going to do Greg Biffle proud here tonight and wheeling that number 16 machine to yet another victory. Where we often seen this 16 machine throughout Greg's career. Coming down the backstretch for the last time here tonight. Checkered flag in hand, waving in the air. The number 16, Monty Shangle, brings it home for Biff. Race number 3 of the season. Many other people during this, past off season were making comparisons between Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Greg Biffle. Be like Biff, 316. It's kind of crazy that the 3 and 16 went together so perfect. Race number 3 here tonight. That's kind of where I was going with that. So Monty seals the deal. Gets past the 2 roughest races of the season. A 46th and a 42nd. It really kind of deflates your season from there, not knowing where to go from the very bottom. But once you're at the very bottom, there's only one way out, and that's up. And we went up and beyond here tonight for the number 16. Taking it to victory lane in Phoenix. Jimmy Logano coming home second. That's a stellar performance for him. But the 16 of Monty is going to be doing burnouts for Biff. Celebrating the victory here tonight in Phoenix. Still kind of a home track for the Shangle clan. Obviously, since we added Moses Lake Motorplex to the calendar this year, that is our true home track. But of the real-life national racetracks, Phoenix is one of those home tracks for us. And so it's cool to see the eldest Shangle settle it here, park it in victory lane at Phoenix, a track that I've never been to personally, but I've heard stories from my dad going to Phoenix quite a lot. So Phoenix is a pretty cool track to get the job done here tonight. But mad kudos to the rest of the field in the finishing order here. Jimmy Logano second, of course. Lynn Farrell with a solid third place podium finish. Brian DeBlanc, another solid run for him. Chaz Chadwick. John Hagan, career best start here this season. Luis Rodriguez, Tasha Wright, Lucas Holmes, and James Fireball Robert. Then he had the one-off starter of Ryan Little, Trevor Vaden, Brandon Butler the second coming home with not so lucky number, 13th place. Wyatt Wilkinson 14th, Bradley Ream 15th, Liz Shangle 16th, Carson Bowers 17th, Louis Trost, Tyler Aspinall, and Tayden Berggren. Kerry Shangle rounds out midfield there, and here is the finishing results past there as you can skim through there. Cooper Dwight, unfortunately, no fuel. It seemed to be the problem with his repetitive trips down pit road. So you have a Shangle bookending the field from first to last. That doesn't happen very often either. It's a long season. We have plenty of races to get things sorted back out in the MSM stalls. A win definitely helps momentum for the team going forward here, so keep our heads high and knocking out all the laps. Not all of them are going to be a gem of a race, but for sure the 16 laid down a gem here tonight.
Greg, did you have any ignition problems?
That in the own it is the coolest thing alone right there, seeing the number 16 in victory lane here. And that's what we're doing it all for, is the the tribute season here, the 2026 year of the Biff, 16th anniversary of Sigma Cup racing. Season's off to a good start, and hopefully we can keep those wheels rolling all year long. Very much appreciate all of you tuning in here tonight. We keep seeing record high activity for these streams, and I love it. So much appreciated to the folks that are tuning in each night for these races. Thanks again, and we'll be keeping the ball rolling. And I'm excited for the next race in the season already tomorrow with Portland. So we'll see how this transitions into Portland tomorrow night. So with that, folks, stay safe out there. Have a great night. If you want to hop on over to Twitch, we'll have the sprint qualifier from Portland here in about 15-20 minutes. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next stream. This is Jakester signing out.